Hi, it's Susie Miller, the Better Relationship Coach, and I'm helping you create better relationships with God, yourself, and others in just 30 days or less. And welcome to Sundays with Susie, where we are actually doing this little book, Coloring the Psalms. And today's psalm that I picked is, I don't know if you, this is backwards, but it says, cast your burdens on the Lord. He shall sustain you. He shall never permit the righteous to be moved. It's funny, we learn verses, and I didn't learn it in that version. And so when we see other things we have to read, to this day at Christmas services, I still think, for unto you is born this day in the city of David. And when they say wrapped in clothes or cloths, I'm always like, wait, no, it's swaddling clothes. So anyway, Psalm 55, I want to talk to you about it for a few minutes, and then I want to talk to you about coloring. So coloring the Psalms really came to me on a walk with the Lord because I was really struggling with some things in our lives. And this psalm I picked for this reason. We won't be going through the book in order. That's just not my style. And so hopefully you'll be able to enjoy and connect with these. So over the last couple of months, we have been going through a really hard time with our family, with some personal things in my own life, with my husband's business and job. And I was really battling being discouraged. And I began to, not really having a crisis of faith of any kind, but really wrestling to believe. Thanks. Hi, everybody, for joining. If you love it, please go ahead and throw some hearts up there. If you're watching later, this will be on Catch, and you can, learn a little bit about this psalm, and hopefully it will apply to you. So if you are, hi, Mona, tell us who you are, or tell us who you are. As I started, I'm Susie Miller, the Better Relationship Coach, and I really want to help you grow deeper in your walk with God, no matter where you are. And this psalm is really important because basically that's the deal with it. Hi from France. Welcome, welcome. In this psalm, David is heavy-hearted. He's having family troubles. His son has wanted to usurp him on the throne. He's been betrayed by a best friend. He actually, when his son tried to overthrow him, packed up his stuff and his people and headed to the mountains where he often went when things were hard. And in this particular psalm, he is just done. He is overwhelmed with worry, with concern, and with really a broken heart. And I love this because I was feeling that way. I was on a walk with my little puppy and with the Lord, and I was just, find a lot of comfort in walking and comfort in coloring now, and just was like, Lord, you know what? I am at the end of my rope. I believe in you. Almost one of those, Lord, I believe, help me in my unbelief moments, because we were going through a hard time, and I really wanted God to answer my prayers in a certain way, and I was getting very impatient in the waiting and in the wondering. And when we worry, it's like a rocker where we go back and forth, and we don't get anywhere. And so and I love rocking chairs. There's one in almost every room in my house. In fact, when our middle daughter was little, I used to rock her back and forth because we were not sure if she was going to live. And I could have worried or I could have prayed. And at that point in time, I began to pray as we rocked her. We were getting very little sleep, so quiet times were almost out of the question. And I would just rock her and pray and sing songs of hymns. And one of my favorite ones was, as a deer pants after water, so my soul longs after you. And I just saw Mona wrote, yes, praying gets you somewhere. And hello from Morocco. Praying always gets us somewhere. In fact, prayer is soothing to your soul, even if you don't know what to pray. I love the movie Fiddler on the Roof because the main character, Tevye, just kind of talks to God like I'm talking to you. He is my buddy and my friend. And so there's not this big, you have to get down on your knees and you have to be all solemn. I mean, sometimes you're just on a walk praying to God. Sometimes you're, dealing with a kid. I pray when I'm with my clients. I pray in the middle of conversations in my head with my kids so that I can stay on track. And as I was coloring before this time with us on Periscope, I was praying for us and for you during this time. So let me dig into the psalm just a little bit. And again, every Sunday we're going to do this together. You can color during the week. If you don't like the book, it's kind of iffy for me. Find a picture of the psalm or find something that you love to color, whether it's a mandala or a henna or any pattern, and then write this verse again, Psalm 55:22. And we all know it. Cast your burden on the Lord, for he cares for you. And what I want to do is I want to kind of unpack those words. So in the Hebrew language, cast your burden really meant, the word burden was your lot, your portion, almost like the hand you've been dealt. It was the circumstances you were in. It wasn't this sense of something you conjured up. It literally means what you have been given. And so a lot of times where we are in our lives, we believe, we are there because and God knows where we are. And so when it's difficult, He has allowed it. And when we lean into that and realize that this is what I've been given this worry, I've been given this burden, I've been given this struggle, and what am I going to do with it? Well, I like to solve things on my own. I tend to be a thinker, and I've learned that at times that's the worst thing I can do. And so this word cast means literally to throw, to fling, to hurl. And so it's almost this idea of get off of me, and I don't want to handle this. I don't want to carry this anymore. It's also translated drop. And so the idea is when we cast our burdens on the Lord, we are literally flinging all that's on our heart, all that we're worrying about, all that could be driving us, down or discouraged on Him. And actually, if you look at my picture here, I started at the bottom, and even though there's green leaves, I did them in kind of some browns and grays and blacks because that's what I was feeling. I knew in my head what my faith was, my foundation and my, the groundedness of my faith, but my feelings, I was really struggling with some of the things God had allowed more recently in our lives and wondering when it would get easier or wondering when my prayers would be answered. And so as you go on up, it does turn into the green because I do feel like when we cast our cares on God, we can grow, we can lay down roots. And so that idea of casting, of hurling, so whatever you're going through, one of the reasons I love the Psalms is because David talks about all the emotions I have. He gets angry at God, he gets frustrated, he questions, but at the end of every day, at the end of all of his cries and pleas, he has a conclusion that has sustained me through 40 years of being a believer. And that is that God is God and I am not. And God is good in the midst of whatever's happening. So we are to cast our cares on God. I'm looking at my notes over here. We are to, throw, to hurl, and whatever it is, whether it's something we've brought on our own from our choices, whether it's something we've been given to deal with, maybe it is a sick spouse or kid, maybe it's worries with your child, maybe it's wondering where your, financial future is. All of those things that burden us as women, we can cast, hurl, throw, give to God to carry. And somehow that gives me my shoulders go down, this whole idea of a lighter heart, an ability to kind of move forward and trust that God's got it. Now, honestly, ladies, one of the things you'll learn from me is I am a truth teller. I say it what it is, and I don't really believe in that whole flowery, just pretend everything's fine. I do believe in having a positive mindset. I do believe in saying, God, I've given these things to you. I'm trusting you to handle them. And so help me in the middle of my struggle. Help me trust you. One of my favorite verses or interactions in the New Testament is when Jesus looks at the man who says to him, Lord, I believe, help me in my unbelief. And Jesus doesn't condemn him. He, applauds this man for his faith. So in the moments of feeling like you need to, just burdened with worry, you're downtrodden, you're struggling, you just want to quit. And I've had those days. I've had those 3 o'clock in the morning wake-ups. I remember this verse and I cast my cares on him. I literally say out loud, God, I'm hurling these at you because I can't and I don't want to carry them anymore. It goes on and it says that he shall never permit the righteous to be moved. And some of the translations say he shall not permit them to be shaken. And the literal meaning for that is he will not allow you to falter, to fall, to fail to the point of ruin. That doesn't mean that God won't keep us from struggles. I love the Message translation. It's actually by Eugene Peterson, and it says this: pile your troubles on God's shoulders. He'll carry your load. He'll help you out. He'll never let good people topple into ruin. So as you color this week and think on this psalm and think on these words, remember that God is right there with you in the middle of your struggle, in the middle of your trial, just waiting with open arms for you to throw them to him so he can carry them. Pile your troubles on God's shoulders. He will carry them for you and he will sustain you through it. So really this little Sundays with Susie season for me of coloring the Psalms was born out of a very difficult time in my life. And I really just wanted to share with you that you're not alone in whatever is going on in your life that's hard. We'll be here with you coloring together, and the Lord, of course, is with you always. If you want to watch the replay or share this with anyone, pop over to the Facebook group, which is Women of the Bible Journaling. Again, the Facebook group is Women of the Bible Journaling, or of course you can find me at susiemiller.com, and that's SUSIE Miller.com. Thanks for joining me today. And if you do join the Facebook group, feel free to pop a picture up of what you've colored so that other women can be encouraged. And, maybe share a little bit about why you picked the colors. You'll see in mine there's going to be purple flowers because that's a color of royalty in the scriptures. And it reminds me that I'm God's girl. I'm God's princess daughter. Remember, when you're coloring, if you mess up, get an eraser, turn the page. This isn't supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be meditative and fun and relaxing. And remember, don't compare your drawings or your colorings to anyone else. This is your time with Jesus and your time to maybe even cast and hurl your cares on him while you're coloring. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.